Fox News alert, no more Mr. Nice Guy. The commander-in-chief says, quote, Iran can't get their act together, and they better get smart soon.
We're not flying anymore with 18-hour flights every time we want to see a piece of paper. We're doing it telephonically, and it's very nice. They've come a long way. The question is whether or not they're going to go far enough. So at this moment, there will never be a deal unless they agree that there will be no nuclear weapons.
Trump's hoping to break the deadlock. Axios is reporting that U.S. Central Command is preparing for a short and powerful wave of strikes. Four-star General Jack Keane says the mullahs only listen to bombs.
The people running the regime, their only objective is to survive and stay in power. The amount of economic peril that the blockade will put on Iran is real. Eventually, it could cause an economic collapse. But they don't care about the suffering of their people. Whether electricity is on or whether there's long gas lines or other economic plight that the people will suffer. They will not give in my judgment. What we need to do is finish the objectives.
The latest Iranian proposal, they say they'll open up the strait if we drop the blockade. But we'd also have to negotiate the nuke dust later. Trump says, are you crazy? What do we look like, John Kerry? Pete says the Navy's not backing down to a bunch of pirates.
What they're doing right now is effectively piracy. It's terrorism. It's threatening international shipping. And our blockade is signaling to the world that we actually control that strait.
The president says the blockade is, quote, this week, U.S. Marines boarded a commercial ship, the Blue Star 3. It wasn't following orders. We stopped her in the Arabian Sea, rappelled down onto the deck, quarantined the crew, and now it's in the custody of Uncle Sam.
How long are you prepared to maintain the blockade? Could that go several more months?
Well, the blockade is genius, okay? The blockade has been 100% foolproof. It shows how good our Navy is, I can tell you that. Nobody's going to play games. Militarily, we've wiped them out. They have no military left. It's all, the Navy's at the bottom of the sea. The Air Force is never going to fly again. We've got an amazing military. Now they have to cry uncle. That's all they have to do, just say, we give up.
Uncle in Iran is Amu, in case the gay Ayatollah gets cable. President Trump says their pipelines are close to exploding. Reports say the country runs out of oil storage in 12 to 22 days. The regime's scrambling to bring back old tankers from the dead. A decommissioned 30-year-old ship was just seen for the first time in years. Right now, they have over 60 million barrels of crude that they can't sell. That's $6 billion rocking on a dock. Treasury says it's only a matter of time before Iran won't be able to drill, baby, drill ever again. And a gasoline crisis is around the corner. Iran's economy is starting to look like Zimbabwe. The inflation rate, are you ready? 70%. And their currency, it's like over 1 million reals for a cup of hummus. The military's killed the country's Wi-Fi, so you can barely run a business. And you know Persian rugs? Can't sell them. The Persian rug business is going belly up. 90% they kick back money to the Guard from oil and arms trafficking. Well, Scotty B's liquidating their golden parachutes.
The retirement funds that they thought that they had outside of Iran, we are freezing. We're holding those for the Iranian people. Same with all their villas in the south of France and all over the world. And we are going to track them down, and we are going to continue the economic pressure as well as the block on the Strait of Hormuz.
Best and better work is magic on the money front fast because American hawks have an itchy trigger finger. Now OPEC is catching strays.
The UAE, they pulled out of OPEC.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think it's great. Look, I know him very well, Mohammed, and very smart. And he probably maybe wants to go his own way. That's a good thing. I think ultimately it's a good thing for getting the price of gas down, getting oil down, getting everything down.
This is good news because there's a lot of upward pressure on Brent crude. Today, closed at $100.20 a barrel. Business figured out that oil supply is unreliable. The only reliable producer is us. And we're turning into the world's cheapest, safest gas station. You know, the clean one in the nice neighborhood that'll squeegee down your windshield with a smile? That's us. Globalism's toast. We're in an every man for himself situation. Resource nationalism is back. Today, gas prices hit $4.25. Can't have that on Memorial Day weekend. Can't have it. The president actually dipped away from the king yesterday to huddle with oil and gas execs. Then Putin called.
What involvement does he want to have in the Iran situation?
He told me he'd like to be involved with the enrichment if he can help us get it. I said I'd much rather have you be involved with ending the war with Ukraine. To me, that would be more important.
Biden went 3 years without ever even talking to Putin. Even after Putin invaded, Biden never picked up the phone and said, hey, Vlad, let's talk. Never did it. Meanwhile, in 24 hours, Trump's talking to Putin, the Iranians, oil CEOs, and the King of England. Today, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth testified to the House Armed Services Committee, and wackos chased him down the hall with pink handcuffs, and then Democrats tried to get cute.
Do you believe that the president is mentally stable enough to be the commander-in-chief?
Did you ask the same question of Joe Biden for 4 years?
Operation Epic Fury was a breeze for Pete compared to dealing with these showboaters.
The biggest challenge, the biggest adversary we face at this point are the reckless, feckless, and defeatist words of congressional Democrats and some Republicans 2 months in, I remind you, 2 months in to a conflict. Lest I remind you, and my generation understands how long we were in Iraq, how long we were in Afghanistan.
We only have 10% of our firepower in the Gulf and only 10% of targets left to hit. And what's left of the Iranian leaders are living underground fighting over how much to surrender. 47 showing a little bit of mercy. He's trying to give peace a chance. But Democrats think the Pentagon's stuck in the muck.
Watching you say the same thing on CNN this morning, a quagmire. My generation served in a quagmire in Iraq and Afghanistan, years and years of nebulous missions and utopian nations.
If the commander-in-chief wanted, last Tuesday could have been bridge and power plant day. It'd be lights out. But Democrats would just call him a war criminal. And then when he'd negotiate, they'd say chickens out. Just noise. Military morale is at all-time highs. Recruitment just broke a 30-year record.
Under Joe Biden, Americans didn't want to join the military. We couldn't get it. Now we have to turn people away and push them to the next fiscal year. That's why this budget grows our force by almost 50,000, ultimately. Additional troops into the force that we believe we can recruit. That's the best vote of confidence I can imagine.
The new Pentagon budget, they're asking for a lot. The money is going for a good cause. The Trump-class battleship, armed to the teeth, laser turrets, a railgun, hypersonic and nuclear weapons capabilities. This is next-gen stuff. Trump calls it the Golden Fleet. But Democrats say Operation Epic Fury costs too much. Schumer says this, $25 billion. Imagine everything we could have done with that money. Funds for health care, hospitals, schools, veterans, military families, and so much more. Trump gave the military a raise for the first time in years. Obama had vets dying on VA wait lists. And hospitals and schools, we already send billions to schools and hospitals, and the Democrats steal it. All this money, we get sicker, our kids get dumber, and Democrats get richer. More money for schools and hospitals. Schumer wants to send more money to the Children's Leering Center. We spent $25 billion on USAID, and the money never got overseas. Went to Democrats in D.C. Yes, war's expensive. No doubt about it. But it's cheaper to disarm them than to bribe them.
President Trump has warned Prime Minister Netanyahu against a broad war in Lebanon, instead advocating for surgical military action. Fed update. The Federal Reserve has decided to hold interest rates steady in what may be Jerome Powell's final meeting as chair. Legal battles. James Comey appeared in court following his 8,647 indictment. Legal experts are currently debating the First Amendment hurdles involved in the case. Border security. A Democratic candidate froze during a live TV interview when questioned about which agency would replace ICE if it were abolished. World and economy. Iran conflict. Recent reports indicate the war with Iran has cost an estimated $25 billion so far. Meanwhile, BP profits have doubled as U.S. gas prices reached their highest levels since the conflict began. Royal visit. King Charles III